All right, guys, welcome back to another powerful episode of 5 Minutes with Mike. Well, at least we hope it's powerful. I am your host, Michael Beckford, and this is 5 Minutes of Mike Sports Edition. And in today's episode, man, we're going to talk about how the Ravens are cooked, the Bucks are cooked, the Lions are cooked. I mean, all of them are cooked. It's going to take a miracle for any of those three of those teams to make it to the playoffs. We'll talk about it in a minute.
This is 5 Minutes of Mike Sports with your host, Michael Beckford.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of 5 Minutes of Mike. I hope you guys are traveling safe. So I wish you guys traveling mercy on as you travel for the Christmas holiday and whichever holiday you're celebrating, whether it's Hanukkah, whether it's Kwanzaa, Christmas, whatever. I wish you guys, safe travels as I will be doing the same. And yeah, man, listen, um, whew, the Buccaneers got some problems. So let's start with them. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they started the season off freaking iron hot, like just couldn't get no hotter than that. Just melting with consistency, melting with just hot ashes of just fire. Between passes thrown, all of that stuff. They were like hitting like on all cylinders. And at one point, the quarterback was seen as a potential MVP level player. And well, unfortunately, fast forward now, the Bucks are trying to they're on life support essentially. Meaning, something has to happen for something to happen in order for it to, uh, in order for Baker Mayfield and the Bucks to get anywhere near making the playoff rounds. And right now, my shouts out to Bryce freaking Young of the Carolina Panthers. This dude, man, this dude has showed me something. Like literally, I said this in a previous episode. Like they tried to write him off. They tried to write him off. But just like Cam Ward with the Titans right now, you got to give these guys an opportunity to grow. If you don't give them an opportunity to grow and just write them off, guess what happens? They end up getting shelved. Another thing, look at Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams came out, you know what I'm saying? He was looking hot the first few games last season of his rookie season. Now his sophomore year, he's like F that sophomore slump. The dude is taking off. I mean, literally, they're leading that particular division and pretty much got a guaranteed spot into the playoffs. So Bryce Young, they're leading the NFC South right now. They took that from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they just recently beat them, and now here we are on to the next level of what I want to talk about, and that is going to be the Cowgirls. I mean, sorry. The Dallas Cowboys, yeah, they're like I said, the Cowboys, they're beyond cooked. They're done, and they're past being eliminated. All right, we can move forward from the Cowboys because there's honestly not much more to say. For 30 years now, the Dallas Cowboys has had hopes, ups and downs. They're like the stock market. Their fans have hope and they go up and they go down and they go up and down and they're all around. And they've had some great seasons under Dak Prescott. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, at the end of the day, right now they got to do something different in the offseason in order to shake things up. And hopefully, just hope.
This episode of 5 Minutes of Mike is brought to you by Padsplit. In a pinch and need a place to stay for cheap? Try Padsplit and get $25 credit once approved for a room near you. Locations and restrictions apply. Hit the link below and get approved for your next room. Now, do you have a vacant home that's been listed on the market forever? Make money from your home today using Padsplit. Earn passive income and make it a Padsplit home today. Link in the description below.
Hopefully they find the right mix to get into the playoffs. But honestly, the defense is trash. You know, it is what it is. Now, moving on to the Lions. The Detroit Lions, man, I'm a little bit shocked about what's going on with the Detroit Lions. The reason I say that is because the Lions were similar in a way to what the Bucs were doing, in a sense that they were iron hot. They were, they're still over 500 right now. They're 8-7. They just lost to Pittsburgh 29-24. But the Lions, the Lions were they looked like almost an unstoppable team early on during the season. And, they had a couple injuries as is natural this time of year. But, they still got their star players. They still got quarterback. They still got Jahmyr Gibbs. They still got, their special wide receiver. They still got a great core of individuals to get the job done. But right now, hey, they're going to, they're one of those miracle taking teams. 8-7, All right, now on to talking about my Baltimore Ravens. I always save the best, statistically not the best out of the teams I just mentioned, but I always save the best for last. Baltimore Ravens. Man, it's been a hell of a year for the Baltimore Ravens. How you go from last year, Lamar Jackson throwing about 4,000 yards. He had, I believe, 41 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, and now this year has just been a spectacle. Not even half of that production from Lamar Jackson. Now, here's the deal. We all know he has been playing with injury this year. Okay, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's been playing with injuries. He's not been fully himself. A couple games I've seen, like last game against Cincinnati. Even the game before that against Pittsburgh, I saw glimpses of himself. And the game they recently played here, he was doing good. He was doing pretty good against the Patriots. But he ended up doing, there was a particular play, he went down, and looks as if he got, obviously accidentally kicked in the rib cage or whatever, and ended up with a back injury. In this game, he was ruled out in the second quarter of the game against the New England Patriots. I think Baltimore very well had a chance to win this game, even with Lamar Jackson out. Tyler Huntley did a hell of a job. A hell of a job as a backup. He was pretty much at almost 100% when it came down to pass per throws. But unfortunately, that which has been the tall tale of the Ravens for the past 2 to 3 years, I would say, and that is turnover prone. Derrick Henry had a great game statistically as far as ones, but he turned the ball over once. Okay, never good. He turned the ball over. The Patriots, took advantage of the turnover, went down and scored a touchdown. Right. And then when at one point in the game, the Ravens actually were up by about 11 points on the Patriots. Now, the Patriots are a freaking good team, right? Their record speaks for it. And winning this game, they actually got locked into the playoffs. So they're a lock, considering that they were horrible just a year ago. Now they're that guy, essentially. And Drake May is him, according to what I saw. But I don't think he's really him. In the sense that if they apply pressure on him, which they did, when Baltimore applied pressure on him, Drake May kind of, he looked average, but outside of pressure, dude looked like he was a freaking MVP superstar, Josh Allen quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And so that brings up to the nether part. The Baltimore Ravens does not have a good pass rush. 3-4 years ago, I couldn't have said the same thing. 3-4 years ago, their pass rush was one of the best. Literally, pretty damn good, if you would. Now, I mean, their best player got 3 sacks as far as on defense, as far as amount of sacks concerned. So when you let a quarterback have all day, they will expose your secondary. And one thing that has been torturing Baltimore this whole season when it comes out to the defense has been their secondary. The secondary can't guard for ish. I mean, it is what it is. Like, yes, they've got some interceptions. Yes, they made some, miraculous plays in the secondary as a defense. And yes, Baltimore's defense has improved tenfold compared to earlier during this season. But one thing I noticed, because I watched every single Baltimore game this season as a fan and obviously as a host of this show, the Baltimore Ravens secondary sucks. It just does. And the pass rush is not great. You know what I'm saying? You cannot let a man just sit back there like a statue and just literally just, survey the field for 5 freaking minutes, right? Obviously, you don't have that much time, but you just can't let a guy sit back there and not have any kind of pressure in his face, especially knowing that your secondary is not that great. So I don't see the Ravens getting into the playoffs unless a miracle happens, right? They're cooked, right? But alongside of that, even if they did get into the playoffs, let's say there's some miracle happens, they do get into the playoffs. So they needed to win out to guarantee them to get into the playoffs. Meaning they needed to win this game against the Patriots, which was winnable, even with Lamar Jackson being hurt. They need to win against the Packers, which is questionable if Jordan Love will be back. But I'm not gonna lie, the backup for Jordan Love was freaking good last week against Chicago. They only lost by one score in the freak of nature that happened with the overtime game. But the backup's pretty good, just like Tyler Huntley. I think it's pretty good for the Ravens. So maybe a backups game and see which backup can beat the other backup in the game. And then their last game will be against the Steelers. They needed to win out to guarantee themselves into the playoffs. Now it's up in the air. They're not at 500 again. So whatever happens, they need to pull out the checkbook. They need to pull out the big fat wallet. And we need a Myles Garrett. It ain't gonna happen because they're in the same division. And Myles Garrett just signed that lucrative contract with the Browns, but you never know. Who knows? Look, Jerry Jones traded Micah Parsons over to Green Bay, who's also in their division from the Cowboys. So you never know. But if we don't get Myles Garrett, which, like I said, I don't see that happening. You'd be better off playing a lottery ticket right about now with that, especially how great of a season Myles Garrett just had. You would not want to have to play against that person twice in a year in a season if you're the Cleveland Browns. But anyway, the big thing is right now, we need some ballers. We need some individuals on the receiver slot. I said this before. Zay Flowers is great. He did a really good job, but he also is both prone to in big game scenarios drop the ball, and essentially he lost the ball, lost the fumble. Like, dude, there's at one point sometimes you just gotta just get down, like especially if you're that close to the line of scrimmage and you know that defenders are coming behind, or at least you should psychologically know that. Sometimes you just can't do the little, you know what I'm saying? It looks good on TV, but unless you're in wide open space and it's just you and a DB, that ain't gonna work when you just right there with hungry linebackers just knowing that this game is on the line. They're gonna try to come behind you, which that's what they did, and punch the ball out. Zay Flowers, bro, you're great, but you're not a number one. You're just not a number one. You're number one for Baltimore right now, but you're not a true number one, dude. We need a true number one wide receiver. That could be D-Hop. I watched this game, and once again, D-Hop is picking balls that are like crazily thrown to him, like nobody else would have caught it. Type, you know what I'm saying? Nobody else would have caught it. So yeah, these teams are cooked. It'll take a miracle for things to happen when they go there for it to change. Otherwise, guys, thank you for watching and listening to this episode of 5 Minutes with Mike.
This episode of 5 Minutes with Mike is brought to you by Michael D. Beckford's newest book, HOMEBOYS. Everybody has a homeboy, or friends call his own. The best friend you kick it with at the family barbecue. The one you trust to bring around your lady without raising a red flag. A homeboy will play video games, smoke, and chill, A homeboy is a nigga you can ride or die, and the one you sleep with on the low. Homeboys, available in ebook and paperback or wherever books are sold.